In case anyone missed this little Jesus tidbit from last week, though, just before the reading, Jesus says, "For I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." It was a reminder that following the rules the Pharisees sought to enforce was impossible. Now, Jesus takes it further in the reading. It's a rule maker's dream. You've got murder, hate, adultery, lust, divorce, oaths. A quote from a verse here or a verse there gives ample support for shunning, judging, chastising, and rejecting the ones who can't live up to the rules. And I am convinced that Jesus was trying to convey exactly the opposite of that to anyone who would listen. Like, you think you're following the rules because you know the loopholes? I'm telling you that it's about more than just doing the minimum. And you have to stop to see that no one is going to be able to live up to all these rules. Stop beating yourself up when you fail. Stop beating up other people who fail. Everyone fails at this. And grace means that failing doesn't mean game over. If you like to enforce the rules on others, grace probably ticks you off to no end. If you're one who knows that everyone fails, grace is a breath of fresh air from the hot air of the enforcers. The enforcers have said this, but I say to you that. That's a loaded interpretation of Jesus saying, you have heard it was said, but still not really accurate. And those "but I say to you" statements from Jesus, as we've often seen, Jesus turns everything upside down. That's what he does. It's just not in a way that the rule enforcers like. Or if they do, in the way that's in keeping with the rule enforcer Schadenfreude. There's your German lesson for today. We have to have German in almost every service leading up to our 50th anniversary. You've heard of the term Schadenfreude? It's not a German word you hear in church that often, and it doesn't have a perfectly direct English translation, but it's mostly the joy of seeing others fail or get their just desserts or have something bad happen to them. Schadenfreude. Schade is the bad, and Freude is joy. So if you have Schadenfreude, you're like, yeah, when something bad happens to someone else. So there. So Jesus isn't about Schadenfreude, the delight in the failure. In verse 21, you have heard it said to those of ancient times, you shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment. But I say to you, if you are angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. And if you insult a brother or sister, you'll be liable to the council. And if you say, you fool, you'll be liable to the hell of fire. Whew. But Jesus is being hyperbolic to say, stop being entrenched in anger and stop insulting others. Jesus said that we're supposed to do more than just not harm others. You have heard it said, you shall not commit adultery. But I say to you, anyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. All right. Men were terrible. Men behaved in terrible ways in Jesus' day too. Jesus, even in those days, sends a reminder to stop treating women as sexual objects. Quit blaming women by saying you can't control yourself when you see a woman. Catcalls, slut-shaming, and feeling of being entitled to a woman's body without her consent have been and always will be wrong. Jesus said it. I believe it. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to go into hell. Nobody's really telling you to cut off your hand or gouge out your eye. Quit blaming other people for your actions and quit hurting one another. And it was said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that anyone who divorces his wife except on the grounds of unchastity causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Anyone want to take this one on? All right, here goes. Jesus wanted people to stop throwing away relationships so easily. It's unrealistic to think that no one is ever going to get divorced and or remarried at some time. I'm an example. I'm divorced and remarried. There are other people here divorced and remarried. Remembering that relationships are important to nurture is a good thing. And choosing abundant living over just surviving isn't a bad thing. I can imagine Jesus, after he said this and someone said, great, now I can just go tell all those people that are divorced that they're in trouble, or I can deny them this or deny them that. And Jesus would take them aside and say, no. That's not what I meant. I just don't want it to be so easy. And stop treating people terribly. Again, you have heard that it was said to those in ancient of times, you shall not swear falsely, but carry out the vows you have made to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. Value honesty and be honest in life. Whether you've been sworn in to give legal testimony or you're just talking to a friend. And I'm not talking about the kind of not quite true things that you say, especially, here's the great example from Johnny Carson. If a baby is born and the baby looks all shriveled, you say, my, what a beautiful baby. You say that. You don't say, my, what a shriveled baby. So Jesus, overall, is talking about choosing the path of love. In relationships, in community, in congregations, in the world. This isn't about trying to live up to an impossible standard, but instead going beyond it and deciding to value all of creation. Instead of going for the easy label, pro-life, pro-choice, Democrat, Republican, progressive, conservative, okay boomer, entitled millennials, Christian, non-Christian, stop and think. How can we really and truly find ways to do good together? How can we really and truly be a people who do things that are life-giving instead of life-threatening? Let us focus really and truly on living out life and love. Because hate just ain't a good way. From Maya Angelou, hate, it has caused a lot of problems in the world, but it's not solved one yet. And from Martin Luther King Jr., let no man pull you so low as to hate him. Let no one pull you so low as to hate them. Let us together really and truly choose life, choose love, us choose to be authentic. Amen and amen.